Okay, so it feels like AI just hit fast forward again this morning, like right as we were getting ready to record, a couple big AI news items dropped.
Yeah.
And it really highlights just how fast things are changing.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I guess is perfect, since that's exactly what we're diving into today. You shared a great YouTube podcast transcript, and our mission today is to like really dig into it and pull out the most interesting insights and takeaways, so you come away from this feeling like you really know what's going on in AI without feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's remarkable. Even just in the short time since that podcast was recorded, the landscape has already shifted. So
yeah,
let's get into it.
Totally. So first up, OpenAI has launched image generation directly within GPT-4.
Oh, right.
And this isn't just like a small update to their DALL integration. This is like way more advanced capability baked right in.
Yeah, that's right. The announcement highlighted some key improvements, like it's supposed to be great at rendering text accurately within images, which has historically been a real challenge for these models.
Yeah.
It also follows your prompts much more precisely, and it can leverage the information from your ongoing chat.
Yeah.
You can even upload existing images and transform them or use them as inspiration for new creations.
Oh, wow. And the fact that GPT-4 is a multimodal model seems to be like a crucial element here, right?
Yeah.
For anyone listening who might not know, like multimodal is basically the AI's ability to work with different kinds of information at the same time.
Yeah.
Text, images, soon probably video and audio all within the same system, not like separate add-ons.
Exactly. And because the core intelligence of GPT-4 is applied directly to the image generation, the quality takes like a big jump forward.
Yeah.
And that enhanced ability to generate legible text within images opens up a whole new range of possibilities.
Right.
Plus, as you said, the image uploading and manipulation features, changing elements, applying different styles.
Yeah.
It makes it a super versatile tool for visual creation.
Totally. That in-context visual refinement thing sounds like a game changer. The idea that you can like progressively prompt and refine an image just by talking to it, and it maintains the visual consistency through all the iterations.
Yeah.
That's huge for anyone doing like iterative creative work.
Yeah, you won't have to worry about each new attempt looking totally unrelated to the previous one.
Yeah.
And currently, this is available to ChatGPT Plus, Pro, and Team subscribers.
Okay.
The rollout to the free tier is being held up due to melting GPUs because the demand is just so high.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
I love that. So there's a huge buzz around using GPT-4 to generate images in the style of Studio Ghibli, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah.
But I did spend some time playing around with the image generation myself, and my initial thought was the timing of OpenAI's announcement, like right after the Google Gemini 2.5 news, it felt well strategically timed, to say the least.
Right. It's interesting to see these AI companies just like constantly pushing each other, driving this crazy fast pace of innovation.
It really does. So I wanted to test that text generation capability, which has often been a weak spot.
Right.
I have this thing where I make silly birthday signs for my kids.
Uh-huh.
And I thought I'd try it with ChatGPT image generation. So I asked it to make signs with my son's name, his age, and then some fun sayings based on different themes. And the first one I tried was Pokemon.
Okay.
And it would generate the image with specific characters, and then almost immediately it would disappear with a message about copyright.
Oh, wow.
But then if I tweaked it and I said, okay, make something similar to a Pokemon, but not exactly that,
Okay.
it would create an image that looked very much like a Pokemon, but not quite the same.
Right. So there's clearly some filtering happening after the initial generation.
Exactly.
Interesting.
But then when I switched to like non-copyrighted themes like 8-bit baseball and Minecraft, it did those perfectly.
Okay.
And the accuracy of the text was actually really impressive. I think I only spotted one typo across like a dozen signs.
Pretty good.
But here's where it gets really interesting for you. Just scrolling through social media, beyond all the Studio Ghibli stuff, you start seeing people creating like mock ads, seamlessly dropping Coke logos into different backgrounds. And it really hits home the profound impact this is going to have on creative professionals, advertising agencies, stock photography, even movie production is like right there.
Yeah. And if we zoom out to the bigger picture, this really highlights how AI is expanding its reach way beyond just basic automation and beginning to significantly impact traditionally creative fields.
And it makes you think about Sora, OpenAI's upcoming video generation model. This level of control and consistency in image generation feels like a preview of what we might see with video. I have to imagine a lot of that underlying capability is already there.
Yeah.
They just need the computing power to roll it out more broadly.
Yeah.
And let's not forget Google's video generation models V2 and whatever they're working on, they're in this game too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the implications for creators and business are really big. Think about the ability to create highly realistic mock-ups of advertisements with accurate logos and fonts that alone could change the entire creative workflow.
Right. I was generating mock-ups of like really professional looking vintage ads with perfect logos and fonts. It was kind of uncanny. You can easily see this being applied to creating high quality ads, business visuals, infographics, charts. The applications are almost limitless.
And it's not just about the professional designers. Think about how this empowers non-designers. Someone who needs a logo for their small business, a basic idea for a web page, some concepts for interior design, a book cover, various digital assets. They can now use descriptive words or even existing images as a starting point to generate options.
Exactly. I'm not a visual person, and often when we're working on things like book covers, I have like a clear vision in my head, but I only have words to describe it.
Yeah.
Now I could articulate that vision or even point to a couple covers that I like and actually get a bunch of concepts back.
Yeah.
This is really democratizing the ability to create visual content.
Yeah, and this raises an interesting question about the future of designers.
Yeah.
While these tools offer incredible new abilities, the expectations around turnaround times and the sheer volume of variations that can be produced are very likely to change.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I can already hear that client saying, why can't you give me 100 different versions in 2 hours? It might sound crazy now, but what's achievable has fundamentally shifted. Having worked at an agency, I can absolutely see that happening. The key takeaway here is the future of creative work is likely to be faster, cheaper, and involve a higher volume of output. The more you can adapt to this and learn to leverage these tools, the better off you'll be. You don't want to be caught off guard when your clients realize what's possible.
All right, let's move on to the next big thing, the viral phenomenon of generating Studio Ghibli-style images using GPT-4. Oh,
Yeah, this has totally exploded online.
Yeah.
People are taking their everyday photos and transforming them into these animated illustrations that look like they came straight out of a Studio Ghibli film. For those of you who might not be familiar, Studio Ghibli is this legendary Japanese animation studio, famous for these beautiful, often hand-drawn 2D animation films that really connect with audiences of all ages.
Yeah.
They're kind of like the Pixar of Japan, but with a much more like dreamlike, poetic, calm, peaceful, and thoughtful vibe. It's a really unique and beloved style.
And that distinctive style is what people are loving about GPT-4o's new image generation capabilities.
Yeah.
Platforms like X and even LinkedIn have been full of examples of people using this Ghibli-esque filter on their photos.
And while a lot of people are having fun with this trend has also sparked some serious backlash, especially from creatives who are concerned about copyright infringement.
Yeah, there was a good example of this in a LinkedIn post by Cassie Kazurkov.
Oh, yeah.
She's a well-known AI person and a former data scientist at Google.
Yeah.
She shared some Ghibli-style photos she created. And while she was kind of optimistic, saying that it could be good marketing for Studio Ghibli, the response in the comments was not good.
Yeah.
A lot of people were upset about what they saw as using Ghibli's copyrighted artistic style without permission.
It really brings up a question. Are we seeing the start of a bigger backlash against AI from creative professionals? And I think the answer is probably yes.
Yeah.
And it's not just about image generation, it's also about the whole debate around training data.
Right.
I was even posting on social media that it feels like we've entered what I'm calling the don't give a blank phase of IP.
Interesting. What's interesting to think about here is the apparent awareness of copyrighted material within the models.
Totally. I mean, it's so obvious that these models have been trained on tons of copyrighted stuff. I was testing it out, and if you told it to generate an image with characters from The Simpsons, Marvel, Disney, it would start to do it. At least it was doing it very recently.
Right.
And then it would disappear with a generic copyright message.
Huh. So the model knows those characters, is trained on them, can generate them, but then there's something that blocks the output.
Right. But the Studio Ghibli thing is interesting because the theory, although not officially confirmed by OpenAI, is that Japan's copyright laws around AI training might be different.
Okay.
They may allow the use of copyrighted stuff for training without the same legal risks as in other countries, and that could be why OpenAI seemed to be leaning into the Ghibli style.
If that's true, it would explain a lot.
Yeah. And then there were even reports over the weekend about OpenAI potentially nerfing the model, meaning making it safer by limiting what it can create. But then Sam Altman, OpenAI's CEO, said they were going to do the opposite of nerfing it.
Wow.
Indicating they're going to keep pushing the limits. So whether they think they have some legal loophole or they're just ready to fight any legal battles, they seem to be full steam ahead.
Yeah.
And I suspect companies like XAI and Meta are going to do the same.
This really shows that the tech is moving faster than the laws and ethical frameworks.
For sure. And then you add to this the news from last week about the Atlantic's report on Meta, maybe using books from that pirated database, Library Genesis or LiveGen, to train their large language models.
Yeah, their report got a lot of attention and highlighted the alleged use of copyrighted books for training without permission.
And this really struck a chord with creators when Anne Hanley, her great marketer and writer, shared on LinkedIn that all 3 of her books were in this database and had been used without her consent to train Meta's llama models.
Wow.
And that post blew up with hundreds of comments, mostly negative towards Meta and other AI companies.
So this, combined with the Studio Ghibli conversation, really highlights the frustration from creative professionals. Feels like these 2 events have really amplified those anxieties.
For sure. I think there are 2 things happening here. First, there's a growing awareness that creative works have been used to train these models without consent or compensation.
Right.
And second, I think this is the year where creators are starting to feel the impact. Maybe they're seeing fewer freelance opportunities or lower pay or clients just generating their own content.
Right. So this increased awareness combined with the impact on livelihoods is creating a perfect storm for a backlash.
Exactly. And it only takes a couple influential voices to get the word out.
Yeah.
Anne Hanley is well respected, and people are going to listen when she raises concerns.
Definitely.
This is a fascinating and frankly kind of unsettling time. As a writer myself and my wife being a visual artist, I feel both the excitement for the creative possibilities and the concern about the potential impact.
Yeah.
It's a weird spot to be in. So our next topic is something that was almost overshadowed by the OpenAI image generation news, Google's recent unveiling of Gemini 2.5, which they're calling their most intelligent AI model to date.
That's a bold statement.
It is. So the first version is an experimental one called Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental, and it's already making waves in the AI research world, reportedly outperforming existing models on industry benchmarks.
Yeah, Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental is part of a category of AI models that Google calls thinking models.
Okay.
These systems are designed to think more before they respond, which leads to improvements in performance and accuracy. They go beyond just pattern recognition.
Yeah.
They can analyze complex information, draw logical inferences, understand context and nuance, and make more informed decisions.
That's pretty cool. And the results seem to be impressive.
Yeah, they are.
Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental has gotten the top spot on the LM Arena leaderboard, which measures how much humans prefer AI-generated responses.
Wow.
And it's particularly good at complex reasoning and code generation.
It's reportedly leading in coding, math, and scientific reasoning. And it's showing some really impressive logical skills across challenging questions. And it's gotten state-of-the-art scores on math and science benchmarks. Notably, it got an 18.8% score on the Hello benchmark, which is a super demanding data set designed to evaluate AI's ability to understand and reason about complex stuff. And 18.8% on that is really high.
Wow, that's incredible. And if you're interested in trying it out, it's available through Google AI Studio and within the Gemini app if you have a Gemini Advanced subscription.
Okay.
So what are the key takeaways here? This is a really powerful model, and much like GPT-4, it has multimodal image generation and a much bigger context window.
That's right. It reportedly has a context window of 1 million tokens, which is about 750,000 words, that the model can keep in mind when it's processing information and generating responses. These next-generation models from Google are showing a huge increase in their abilities.
This feels like a sneak peek into the next generation of AI models.
Yeah.
Claude 4, GPT-5, the full release of Gemini 3, and the next version of Llama, it seems like the big trend is towards these natively multimodal models, built from the ground up to work with text images, voice, and eventually video and audio.
Exactly. You can imagine a future where something like Sora video generation is just built right into ChatGPT, or where Google's video stuff is a core part of Gemini. These will evolve into unified models that can work with multiple types of data depending on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then you'll have super advanced reasoning capabilities on top of that, along with a smart routing system that figures out which function to use based on your input.
So cool. And it seems like Google is ahead, at least publicly, in terms of the size of their context window.
Right.
And for the average user, the non-technical person, that larger context window is super important.
Right.
Imagine the AI being able to access all the info in your CRM or your Google Drive, all your knowledge and documents.
Yeah.
The context window is how much background information the AI can use, which can really improve accuracy, reliability, and reduce hallucinations.
So the bigger the context window, the better the AI can understand and remember stuff, making it much more useful. It's like why Notebook LM is so effective when you feed it specific documents. Google has even talked about testing 10 million tokens, and Sundar Pichai even mentioned basically infinite tokens in the future.
Wow. The possibilities with these massive context windows are incredible. Really accurate outputs, relevant recommendations, better decision-making. Even a context window of 750,000 words is huge. It could hold all the important documents of a small to medium-sized company.
It's mind-blowing to think about that level of contextual awareness.
So let's move on to our rapid-fire segment.
Okay.
Starting with OpenAI's announcement of OpenAI Academy.
Yes, this is a new initiative from OpenAI to make people more AI literate.
Right.
It's a free, community-driven learning hub with short video tutorials covering everything from using ChatGPT to creating videos with Sora.
And it's designed for a wide range of people, like educators, students, job seekers, nonprofit leaders, small business owners.
It sounds like they're really trying to help people learn.
Yeah, and I really like their community focus.
Yeah.
It's not just videos, they're creating an interactive experience with online and in-person events like workshops and discussions led by OpenAI experts and other innovators.
That's great.
They're starting with English, but plan to expand to other languages, and they're even looking for people around the world to host in-person events.
That's cool.
There's no official certification yet, but they've hinted at a big announcement coming soon. This really shows the need for AI literacy. We're seeing similar things from HubSpot, Salesforce, Google Cloud, and Microsoft.
What's interesting is that they are both teaching OpenAI's tools and broader AI principles.
Yeah.
It makes sense for them to highlight their platform, but a basic understanding of AI is good for everyone.
Right.
Their structured collections, ChatGPT on campus, ChatGPT at work, Sora tutorials, AI for K-12 educators, and AI for older adults look good. They offer both on-demand and live content.
I can see us recommending parts of this in our own mastery program. It makes sense for OpenAI to educate users because it will lead to more adoption. It's worth noting that they had a different idea for an AI Academy last fall, so they've clearly been working on this.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay, moving on to more OpenAI updates. Beyond the image stuff, they've also improved the GPT-4 O model itself.
Okay.
They say it feels more intuitive and collaborative, especially for STEM and coding tasks. It can create cleaner code, analyze existing code better, and generate code that actually works more consistently. Even for non-coding stuff, it feels a lot smarter.
What about for businesses?
Oh yeah, so one of the most requested features from businesses is now in beta, the ability to connect ChatGPT to internal knowledge sources.
Oh, wow.
So now it can access info from your Google Drive, which makes the responses more personalized and relevant.
Okay.
And they're planning to add more connectors for other platforms like project management and CRM tools.
That's big.
On the business side, OpenAI is projecting huge revenue growth. They're saying over $12.7 billion in the coming year, up from $3.7 billion last year, and then $29.4 billion the year after that.
Wow, those are some serious numbers.
And this comes as they're finalizing a $40 billion funding round led by SoftBank.
That's huge. The ability to connect to internal data is a game changer.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if people will use ChatGPT as their main hub for everything, or if they'll stick with the AI features within each app.
That's a good question. I was just thinking, will we all just live in ChatGPT eventually?
Right.
With it being connected to all our tools?
It seems like that could be their long-term plan to become the central interface for everything.
Totally. So next up, we have this idea of vibe marketing, which seems to be getting some traction following Andrej Karpathy's concept of vibe coding.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, Karpathy talked about using natural language to guide AI to write code. Now, vibe marketing suggests that interconnected AI systems managed by other AIs trained by marketing experts could handle a lot of the marketing work.
Oh.
Human marketers would then focus on strategy, branding, and creative direction. And people are saying this could be way more efficient. Like one good vibe marketer could do the work of an entire agency.
It's an interesting idea, but trusting big brands to AI and vibes still feels a bit far off.
I agree. But the idea is cool. Imagine managing a 30-day product launch just by talking to an AI like Gemini or ChatGPT.
Yeah.
You could plan everything. Write emails, design landing pages, generate ad copy, create social media posts all through conversation. It gives individuals the power to run campaigns that used to need whole teams. I kind of experienced this myself when I did a big research project super fast using ChatGPT. The vibe here is about that intuitive way of working with the AI.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The ideas person becomes the creator and developer. Okay, moving on to Elon Musk. xAI has officially bought X, formerly Twitter, in an all-stock deal that values xAI at $18 billion and X at $33 billion.
Wow, so they're really merging now.
Yeah, basically. It makes sense strategically. X gives them tons of conversational data, which is perfect for training language models, plus they get a built-in way to distribute their Grok chatbot.
Right.
This creates a foundation model AI company with a big consumer product, although some people think Grok isn't as good as its competitors yet.
Right.
This turns Twitter investors into xAI shareholders and makes the sharing of data, talent, and resources official. It shows that Musk is serious about AI. Some people even think they might integrate Tesla's data into xAI's training.
That's interesting.
This felt inevitable after Musk bought Twitter. Creating a valuable AI lab seemed like the next logical step. X becoming the training data for xAI was always likely. It's another example of the huge valuations in AI right now.
Yeah, it really is.
The main thing for users is that what they do on X is now training xAI's models.
Okay, so Anthropic has released some interesting research that gives us a peek into how their large language model, Claude, thinks.
Oh yeah, this is the AI microscope stuff.
Exactly. They've published research on interpretability. They're trying to figure out how these complex AIs actually work.
And what did they find?
Some cool stuff.
Yeah.
For example, they found that Claude often thinks in a way that's not limited to specific languages.
Wow.
Like there might be a universal language of thought inside the model. And when it writes poetry with rhymes, it actually plans the rhymes in advance. And get this, they also found that AI models can sometimes BS.
What?
Yeah, they give explanations that sound good, but don't actually reflect how they made the decision.
Interesting.
It's like they can make up reasons.
So they're saying what we see isn't always the whole story.
Exactly.
This reminds me of what we've talked about with mechanistic interpretability.
Yes.
And those weird, unexpected behaviors and emergent understanding we've seen in these models.
Like that sentiment analysis example where the model seemed to get sentiment without being trained for it.
Right, exactly. It challenges the idea that LLMs are just predicting the next word. The Golden Gate Bridge anomaly, where they found the specific neuron responsible for a weird behavior, is a good example of this.
Right, what's next?
Okay, next we have Amjad Masad, the CEO of Replit, saying that learning to code might not be necessary anymore.
Really?
Yeah, he said this in a recent interview.
Okay.
He thinks that AI agents are getting so good at coding that most people won't need to learn it. This is a big change for him because Replit uses a lot of AI in their coding platform.
Right.
And he's always been a supporter of AI for developers. And just a year ago, he was saying people should learn at least some coding. Now he's saying focus on critical thinking, problem solving, and communication.
Wow.
He admitted it's a tough conclusion for him and that there might be exceptions, but he sees a clear trend towards AI taking over coding tasks.
I mean, it's just one person's opinion, but it's coming from someone who's running a major AI company. It's interesting to see these different views, even among experts.
Definitely. So McKinsey has just released their State of AI report, which looks at how companies are using AI, especially generative AI.
Yeah, this report is based on a survey of almost 1,500 people from over 100 countries. And it found that AI adoption is speeding up. 78% of organizations are using AI in at least one area, up from 72% last year and 55% the year before.
Wow, that's a big jump.
Yeah, and generative AI specifically has seen a huge increase. 71% of people are using it mainly for marketing and sales, product development, service operations, and software engineering.
But even though AI is being adopted quickly, the report says most companies are still in the early stages of really changing their operations because of it.
That makes sense.
Only 21% have redesigned their workflows, and less than 20% are tracking how well their generative AI projects are doing. Interestingly, big companies, those making over $500 million a year, are moving faster and are more likely to have dedicated AI teams.
Yeah. It's interesting that the report is based on data from July 2024. Things move so fast in AI, it makes you think about how AI could speed up these reports in the future.
Right, like could AI be writing these reports soon?
Yeah.
Okay, next up, the Wall Street Journal has published a piece adapted from an upcoming book that reveals more about what happened when Sam Altman was fired and then quickly rehired as OpenAI's CEO back in November 2023.
Right, that was a crazy few days.
It was. So apparently Altman was warned by Peter Thiel about the AI safety people at OpenAI possibly causing trouble.
Yeah.
But the article says it wasn't actually disagreements about AI safety that got him fired, but issues with how he ran the company.
Interesting.
The board thought he was being dishonest.
Okay.
And even Mira Murati, who was the CTO at the time, said she was worried about his toxic management style. She said he was misrepresenting safety stuff and turning employees against each other. The board said they fired him because of direct lies.
Wow.
But then most of OpenAI's employees threatened to quit if he wasn't brought back. And even Murati and Ilya Sutskever, who gave evidence against Altman, ended up supporting him. There's another book coming out soon about the early days of OpenAI and all the drama. It seems like there was a lot going on that we didn't know about.
They're pretty wild.
Altman has always been kind of vague when asked about it, but he's focused on the future.
Okay, so Runway has introduced Gen 4, their new AI video generation model, and Bloomberg is calling it a challenge to OpenAI's Sora.
Yeah, they're saying it can make more cohesive videos.
So what's different?
Gen 4 is better at keeping things consistent throughout a video, which has been a problem for AI video models.
Right.
It has this world consistency feature that makes sure characters, locations, and objects look the same in every scene.
That's cool.
In the past, AI videos often had weird jumps between clips, but this is supposed to fix that.
And can it create different scenes with the same characters and stuff?
Yeah, Runway says it can. It can generate consistent characters from just one image, and it can keep objects looking the same in different environments. This is huge for filmmaking and storyboarding.
Yeah, you could have multiple camera angles and variations without things looking wrong.
Exactly. And the CEO of Runway wants to be able to make full-length movies from just a text prompt.
Wow.
They've also been working with creative professionals to get feedback, which is smart.
Definitely.
With video becoming so important for AI, I wonder if Runway will get bought by a bigger company.
It's possible. You could see companies like Apple and Amazon, or even AI companies without strong video capabilities like XAI or Anthropic being interested.
Definitely. Okay, last one. Microsoft has added 2 new AI agents to their Microsoft 365 Copilot platform, Researcher and Analyst.
Okay, tell me about them.
Researcher is like a research assistant for big projects.
Yep.
It's based on OpenAI's models, but enhanced by Microsoft. It can do things like develop market strategies by combining data from the company and external research. Analyst is more like a data scientist.
Okay.
It uses OpenAI's GPT-4 and can even run Python code so you can check its work.
Oh, wow.
Both are coming out in April for Copilot users through a new Frontier program.
That's cool, but will people know how to use these things? They sound pretty complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. But the potential for increased productivity and insights is huge.
Yeah.
And I can see them creating more specialized agents for other jobs, like an AI accountant, a wealth manager, a marketer, or a writer. It makes you wonder if AI will just become part of every job or if it will replace some jobs altogether.
Right. It's kind of like the vibe marketing idea we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Will we have AI co-pilots for every role?
It's possible. Okay, so we got a question from a listener. With AI models getting better at making prompts, will prompt engineering still be important in a year?
That's a great question.
It is, and the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Even though models are getting better at prompting, being able to tell the AI exactly what you want will always be important.
That makes sense.
Prompt engineering is also how you learn what these systems can do.
Right.
It's a valuable skill that companies are looking for when they hire people. We should even teach prompting as a skill.
I agree.
The systems will get better at helping us, but knowing how to use them will be a key job skill.
It sounds like we covered a lot today. We did. AI is moving so fast, and there's always something new to learn.
It's been great to be back.
Well, thank you for joining me for this deep dive. We know it's a lot to take in, but we hope you feel more informed about AI now.
Yeah.
Keep exploring and stay curious. And here's something to think about. With all this AI stuff happening, what are the most important human skills that people and organizations will need in the coming years? Not just about using the tech, but beyond that. What do you think?
That's a good one.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.